sure know how to trick. All right. Hey, everyone. Let's get this set up. So, right now, right away, you can see I'm on three screens. I have three different views that everybody can take a look at. You have my wide angle view, which is over here. I'm going to move this a little bit. Then I have my secondary cam that's coming at you from my secondary monitor. And then you have this right here, which I'm able to angle, and this is actually a camera from my phone that I'll be able to adjust. The other thing, and I don't normally do this, but if I wanted to, I have my DSLR camera over here. Normally, this setup is going to be a little bit different, and I'll explain that in a bit. So the reason I wanted to come on here today is because I've been doing productions for since I came on LinkedIn 4 years ago, and I was doing event after event after event, and it got exhausting. So I wound up stopping that component. I was at that point I was with StreamYard, and when I started working with Future Kane, I came over and started utilizing ECAMM, which is my little gold mug that you see here. So I wanted to come on because a lot of people don't talk about the back end of all of this. They talk about, hey, you could do a podcast, you could do this, you could do that. But there's a lot that goes into it. And I'm realizing that my phone is temperamental, but that's okay. I'll bring that back in a second. Um, so I want to go through and show everybody how I do these things. So this is going to be like, what I'm doing is, if you saw last night, I announced that I'm doing my next event on July 14th, which was a month from yesterday. I'm actually going to be building out everything with everybody during the call. But before I get to that, I wanted to go over a couple of things that I find super helpful. So let me just start by saying that my current setup is not going to be my final. Anytime I go to up level or anytime I want to elevate, I always look for ways that I can improve. And graciously, the ECAMM fam has been a big component in allowing me to do that by increasing my knowledge. So what I'm going to do, and you're going to see this here in a second, is I want to start by going over what actually my setup looks like. Now, this isn't the most extravagant setup, but it's pretty darn good. So right now, you're seeing the background of my phone. What this is if you see this NDI HX capture, this is what I'm utilizing right now. So if I go over to my camera, now you're seeing that I actually have access and you're seeing the view from here. So to show everybody what I'm looking at is, and let me try to fold it this way. That's not going to work. So I have two 32-inch monitors plus my main laptop. Up there, you're going to see that is an Elgato webcam. It's a 4K webcam. You're going to see that I have my everything set up so that I'm looking at the screen. This is actually where I'm keeping track. Here, you have my Hypercast mic with my Elgato swing arm. So this goes in all different directions. Hypercast was the first mic that I picked up and used. I happen to really love it. I get a lot of compliments on the coloring, and that's a big thing for me. Normally, this camera right here would not actually be here. It would be looking at me from here, but I wanted to show because this is the type of clamp that I utilize to put that on, and it just hooks into here. As far as my lighting goes, you're going to see that I have two Lume Cube lights, and if I go over here, I can actually light in or darken depending on how I want to do it. Over here, and this is like $10 thing, So before, when I had it static and showing you my Stream Deck, this is a $10 device that I hook on to my desk so that my camera could sit still when I want it to, which helps with my client meetings. Over here on my lighting, I have another phone holder along with my coffee mug, and that's a Google Nest. It's a mesh Wi-Fi device. Over here, I have my SamDisk. This is a 3K storage, so I put all my stuff on here so that I don't overload my computer. I have two UTech Pro hubs. This gives me access to about 15 different devices at any given time. Let me just make sure that I'm not missing anything. So it looks like I'm getting, okay, got it. Just wanted to make sure of something. So that's what I use for my smart hubs, although I'm getting another one for my base. Here is my Stream Deck setup. So I don't have lipstick on it, but this is the Stream Deck Plus. I'm going to be setting this up this weekend. This will help me control volume, noise, different things like that. Over here is a Stream Deck. This is my hub. So anytime I'm running anything, it will go through there. So as an example, I have all of these set up for different music choices. When I am going, if I want a cinematic feel, I can click this button right here. It tells me how much time is left. If I want to do something like lightning, I have that there. So I'll talk about my video software in just a second, because I'm going to share everything with you. The two things that I want to kind of finalize with. So this is Stream Deck Plus. That's my Stream Deck green screen. You could see that I have a lot of Elgato stuff. Over here I have my drink. This is just liquid IV. One really cool thing I wanted to show that people don't think about is, even though my wires are a bit of a mess, here, let me put this down. I'm going to stop the sharing on here for a moment and remove this. And then I'm going to shift this up here. So, and I'll be able to show everybody how this is done in a few minutes. But what's really cool about this, and it's Rorbam, or Rorbam, RORBAM. It's a cord organizer kit. And what you do is you stick this back end on something, and then the cords, I'm going to try to show you an example, wrap around like this. Does that make enough sense? So this is how I keep everything as clean as I possibly can. So just to kind of re-go over, I have two Lume Cube lights. I have my Hypercast mic over here. If I was to get another mic, it would be a Shure mic. I have my swing arm, multiple cameras here, so you could see I'm actually looking at the camera now. So if I turn, because in a moment I'm going to be going through how I actually build this stuff out. So now when I'm looking this way, you're going to see in this mic here, this screen here, the smaller one, I'll highlight it by making this. So this one with the lighter color border, this is what I'm now looking at. So now, where as opposed to here where I'm looking straight ahead, this is through the camera in front of me. If I tilt this way, now I'm looking directly at my Elgato mic, so that when I'm doing all of this, you'll be able to see. Yeah, I have multicam. One thing I want to mention before, because I'm sure some people may have seen it, this this is something I got from a company that reached out to me wanting me to do influencer marketing. And the company, and I'm fine giving out their name during this broadcast, is called eMeet. The reason that I like this particular cam, although I don't use it as often, is because this is actually built for a company. So it would sit in the middle of the table, and all of these dots here, which you may not be able to see, but all those lines here, those are all cameras. So if I'm sitting here with this and I have this side, it's capturing a 180-degree angle. Then this piece right here is obviously for the sound quality. So for why is a 180-degree angle important for a podcaster? Well, what you don't see, because it's a mess, is I have a couch over here with a desk and a microphone. So if I was to have somebody in studio with me, then what I can do is I place this here, I connect it, and now you have a 180-degree immersive experience. So you really get to see behind the scenes of what I'm doing. And it's a really cool thing that I want to utilize more. I just haven't had the opportunity to. So now, one question that I want to answer is that, well, if I'm doing this, there's a lot of money to spend if I'm just doing podcast, and that's appropriate. So the reason that I upgraded the system, and by the way, these lights were influencer. I got them from people wanting me to try it out. The Elgato, the E-Meet, which is a $900 camera I got. I have a mic here from iRig that I got. This is so basically what I spend is not only for podcasting, but as a professional, as a keynote speaker, I want to elevate how much I'm able to get paid. Well, if I say, hey, I've got all of this with me, I can do the production side and it's really good quality, then I can actually up the price that I ask for from people. So let's say that I was asking for 5,000, I could technically ask for 6,000 to 7,000. So you're looking at a 20 to 30% markup because I'm able to produce with better quality. There's now, I'm also not the most advanced. So there are going to be people out there that get gear, that buy gear all the time, and that's completely understandable. But that's not me. Oh, two other things. So this right here, this is for the camera. This is for a camera. So what I do, I hook this up to Bluetooth, and I hook this up to my phone. And what happens is I can then remotely take photos. So if I have this sitting over here and I have my phone as a cam, then I could take photos as I'm doing the event. And now I have both degree shots. So I have video. I also have screen capture without having to screen capture during that video. Now, this box here, I don't do unboxings because I think they're stupid, but this is part of my upgraded setup that I'm going to be doing. And the reason I'm doing this is because with the event that I'm putting on, I want to make sure I have all the angles captured. And there's certain things that just kind of annoy me. Like you saw that I have this rig set up here. The reason I do this is so that I'm able to get alternative angles, but because it's connected to my swing arm, it's not giving me what I want because of the flexibility. So what I did, and this is only one part of it, is I bought an Elgato arm, and these are some connection pieces to it. And what's going to happen is I'm going to have basically a long pole up here, and then I'm going to have pieces. So I'm going to be able to put a camera up here. I'm going to be able to put a camera on the side. It's going to be multi-faceted. Now, I was asked about what I use for streaming software, and I'll share that. Just one second. Let me just get this down and take a sip of water. And I'm actually going to take you behind the scenes of what I use. So when I say behind the scenes, in a minute, you're going to see like legit everything. But let me go to my next scene. Here I am. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a screen share overlay. Bear with me just one. There we go. That's my email. I don't want my email there. So let's go through and let's go to secondary display. I'm going to make this bigger. I'm going to make this smaller. And actually, let me change this over for a second. I'll change it back in a minute. All right, so now you're seeing me at the bottom left of the screen. I'm going to enlarge this to show everybody. I'm going to take this. I'm going to pull it up. And by the way, this, what you're seeing right up here, this camera hub, this allows me, well, that's too close for anybody's comfort, including my wife. But this is my camera hub. I could add effects. I could flip upside down. I could mirror. I could do preview format and all different things, but we're not focused on that right now. So I'm going to expand this. We're going to get to that in a second, but here's the software that I use. I don't want the perks. Well, I do want the perks, but I don't want the perks for this. So this is ECAMM Live. The reason that I go with ECAMM Live is because I was on StreamYard, and what I realized is that I needed something that was more immersive, more customizable, better able to do what I needed it to do. So Gabe Liel, who used to host Unfiltered Live and is currently enjoying his life with his better half, introduced me over to ECAMM, and I got inundated with it, and now I have the luxury of being able to work with some great people every day. So what is ECAMM Live? Here's the streaming platform. Basically, it's a platform that lets you customize everything the best way possible. It's run by two guys that are really keeping this small and familial. This is Marshall Fox right here. He's actually doing a show now. I wish I wouldn't have done this at this time. Here's Luria. Luria uses the Streamdeck Plus as a lipstick holder, and it allows you to do DSLR, which I've spoken about a little bit, studio mixing. Here's the Stream Deck, as you're going to see, and it's just a completely immersive experience. We have Doc Rock over here, great guy. And then, like I said, here's Marshall. Here's Fulgens. Fulgens is, Anna and Fulgens are my partners with a number of projects that I do. So you're going to get to meet them, including the event that I'm doing next month. And then you're not going to be able to see unless I zoom in, and she's going to be mad at me, but I don't care. So if I go back here, right over here, where it says the flow, this is Katie. Yeah, you still can't see it that well. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to go, actually, I want to be able to see everybody. What I'm going to do is that, all right, so I see people watching, very cool. So you're going to be able to see that I have this here, but what I'm going to do is this. So right now I'm going to go into, well, let me do one thing real fast. I don't want anybody to see stuff they're not supposed to see. Options, live demo mode. All right, so in a moment you're going to be able to see my screen and everything that I'm looking at. I just want to make sure that we're there. Okay, so everybody can see my screen. You could see my background. Now, I want to be very clear. The reason that I'm doing this way, the reason that I did it this way, is because I'm going to be quite literally starting from scratch. with this particular project that I'm working on. Let me just lock my overlay. This allows me to move this up. You're going to see that I have my camera effects box. You're going to see that I have my sound effects box. Now, this doesn't include the ones I already have. So if I wanted to, there you go. Here's my overlays. I'll explain that in a moment. I need to clean that up. Then I have my scenes, my sound levels. I'm going to put over here. I could use them to be a little bit smaller, but that's okay. Here are your comments that what I'm seeing in real time. If I had somebody else on the call on this video, then we'd be able to chat here. Here's my camera hub. So that if I had a third one, so if I added the other one back in, I'd be able to do that. And so you see everything. So let's go through really what we're looking with. And I don't think I could switch profiles in the middle, but that's okay. So the way that it works is when you're doing a live production, in ECAMM, you build out different scenes. Right now, we're in a new scene, but if I wanted to rename this, I could put screen share. Now, what you're seeing is that I have that under screen share. Now, within each of these scenes, this is where it comes into overlays. Now, what I usually do, and I'll do that now, is I usually have folders to clean this up. So what I'll have is I'll have guests as a folder. I'll have, I don't want that to be under there, so let me trash that. Okay. I will have another folder. This folder is going to be guest overlays. We're going to have another folder for backgrounds. We're going to have another folder for chat, so on and so forth. And what's going to happen is each one of these I'm going to recreate for each additional scene. So if I go back to here, what you're going to see is now I'm back to having these two screens, and you're going to see that I have my overlay box. Now I have to recreate these overlays. Let me move this live program over here. So now I'm going to have to go. So yeah, camera overlays, background. Oh yeah, I had already done this for this one. So what this means is right now I have to see, but if I want to do the 5-minute countdown, then I unhide this and this comes up. If I wanted to do my iPhone, then I could do that. If I want to do a comment, there's that. And then the background, if I want to change the background, then these are all the different ones that I had built in for this that I had uploaded. Giselle, if you have questions, let me know. I'm going to continue to go through. I have a meeting in about an hour, so I'm going to have about half hour, 45 minutes to go through this with everybody. So each one of these scenes is going to be from the intro to your standard. This is going to be scene 1, and then screen share. And then if I wanted to add another scene, so watch this. So if I go here and I add another scene, so now this goes back to just being a blank scene. So we're going to create and say, okay, I'm going to do scene 1 DEI playbook. Okay, so this is where we're going to have a little bit of fun, everybody. So now I'm going to be able to show you exactly how this works. So first thing I'm going to do is this. I'm going to go over to screen share, and this is because I'm going to show you exactly how I'm doing this. Okay. So let me just do this. I'm going to screen share. Yes, secondary display. So we are going to go over to here. Now what I want to do is I'm going to duplicate this page. So this is going to be my background. I'm going to delete this, delete this, delete this, delete this, delete this, delete this. I'm going to keep on deleting. Everybody's getting pissed at me, but I'll show you why I'm doing this in just a second. Okay, let me unlock this because I don't actually want. So these are all overlays. So when I'm looking at this, just so everybody knows, and here's what I did to create this poster. I went to elements up here. Then I went to soccer field. I went to, I believe it was graphics. It was either graphics or photos. Yeah, it was this. I expanded it. So I made this larger. I removed the background. And then I stretched this out. And that was how I wound up coming up with this. So I had my background, I added this in. Then I created these, and I'll show those in a minute. But for the sake of what we're doing, I'm going to remove that. I want to remove that. So here's the thing. This is a black gradient. So let's say that I wanted this. This is the gradient I wanted to use. I have a number of different ones. So if I went to uploads and I scroll down, you're going to see that I have a couple of different styles that I can choose from. Another thing, and I always like to give credit where credit's due, is if you really want to find out how to find a gradient for what you're interested in, let's say we want to do neon gradient. If I search here and I go to images, now I see all of these neon gradients. Then what I could do, okay, so that one I can't use because it has the marker on it. Let's take a look at this, but I can do this one. So let's go save as, and now I'm going to do neon gradient. I'm going to go to my desktop and put this in my gradient file. Now I'm going to come back over. I'm going to go to upload files. I'm going to go to gradients. I'm going to go to the neon gradient. This is going to upload here. I'm going to replace the background. So that's how I find those things. I have to give credit to DocRock because I would never have thought of going through Google for that, even though it seems really simple. So the gradient that I've chosen for this particular event is this. Now, one of the things that you're going to see is if we look at the background of my screen, and I'm going to go back to this for a second. So if we look at this, I want to cover all of these different angles. So this entire thing needs to be covered. So when I'm doing this, I want to make sure this fits. I also want to acknowledge that I'm going to have 7 people. That's 7 individual photos that you're going to see. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this, and I don't want this to be super noticeable. Like I want it to be there on the screen because I want people to know where they are. But I also recognize that I'm not going to have a whole lot of space to play with when we consider that I'm going to have 7 different cameras. So I'm putting this up here, If I want to, let's just say I go in here and I could click. So here's the thing. This is called color slurp. If I want to, let's say, let's go back to LinkedIn, and let's go to Ishan, who is one of my guests. So let's say that I want to take this and I want to use her colors. Color Slurp is an extension. I'm going to click it. Now I'm going to highlight this over here. Now you see that you see over here that it's going to have the hex code. So I'm going to click. It's going to make a weird noise. Now I'm going to go back, and let's say that I want to take these three colors and I want to turn them into the color that I just got from Ishan. So I paste that in here, and instantly this is turning this way. Now, for what it's worth, I'm not even sure what colors I'm going to be utilizing at the moment. I know I want to have some contrast. I also, being diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging, I want it to speak to the different colors of the neurodiversity pyramid, neurodiversity ribbon. So I'll have those options to do that. For now, I'm going to make it a little bit lighter. So this is going to be everything that I want for the actual background. And I don't want the color slurp on my page. Thank you. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to share. I'm going to go to download. I'm going to go to current page. I'm simply going to download this. I'm going to click here. You're not going to be able to see this because it came up on my main screen. Or you may be able to, I'm not sure. I'm going to put this in my DEIB folder. Now we're going to come back. We're going to come back to this screen, right? So now we're on this blank screen. So what I'm going to do from here is, you see that in this box here I have overlays. So I'm going to add image overlay. I'm going to click all. I'm going to go here. Now you're seeing a blank screen and there's nothing there. You can't hear me. You could hear me, but you can't see me. Okay, I get that. So here's what we do. We come down here and I'm going to new camera overlay. So now you have me right here. Now here's the thing. I may not want to be in this particular shape. So I have these options. If I want to customize, now, oops, that's something I should have done first. Let me lock this overlay. So when I lock the overlay, that means now I could move it without it shifting. So now I'm going to go to this and I'm going to say, okay, well, I want it to be this size. I want to be right down here. Cool. But let's say that my, first of all, I don't need to have this corner radius. I can make it sharper. I can make it rounder. It's whatever I want to make it. I usually like rounded corners. I could also increase the border width so you could barely see me, or I could give it a nice little buffer. So let's say that I want to have it here, but I want to change the color. Let's say my color is red. I'm going right here. I'm adding the red. Now, if I wanted to, I could also come around here and choose a different color, however I wanted to do it. I have the ability to. And then what this will do is this will come up or down with me depending on the size that I want it. Now, before we move on to adding some more camera overlays, acknowledging that we have 7 people, let's do this. So the reason I'm bringing this up here is because now I want to do a text box. I want people to know who I am during this event. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to click Dan Roth. If I want to make it a second line, I'm going to shift and enter, and I'm going to say host. So once again, if I want to make the corners, I can. If I want to make the margins, I can. That looks pretty good. If I want to do a thinner or larger, I can as I go through here. By the way, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I know I'm going a little bit fast. So now I have this. I have my colors. I'm going to add it. So first of all, I don't need it that big. But what I do want to do is I do want to bring this down here. Now what you're going to see on the screen is now you're going to be able to see me and my name, and it's easy to read. The only thing is I don't necessarily love how that looks. I want to expand it. So what I can do is I can click this. I'm having a little bit of trouble because there we go. I can make this thinner, smaller, however I want to do. I'll leave it there for now. Now, okay, I'm the host. I'm in the corner. I have 7 people that are coming. Here's what I'm doing. I am going to add 7 more camera overlays. That's 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to have 1 more. So actually, let's delete a couple of these. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to do this. Okay. So I have from the edge, top here to the bottom. I know I'm going to need something. I know I'm going to need to fit. So now I have options, right? Option 1, I leave it as a rectangular box, a wide box. Option 2, I could add it as a circle. Option 3, I could make it a squirtle. I don't think I ever understood the definition of that. I could make this some thinner boxes like that. And also the thing with this is that you need to keep in mind is that different people are going to have different setups. Like right now, if you do this tall setup and I'm sitting here like this, you need to make sure that you have the accessibility that the person's going to be able to center themselves on the screen. Also, so let's just say that, okay, well, I have it here. Let's do this. I don't want to be the same shape as everybody else. I want people to know that I'm the host. So let's make this a circle. Let's bring this over here. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to be down. There we go. But now I want everybody else to have some space to be themselves. So now what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to duplicate and I'm going to move this around so that we have the space to bring everybody in. Now Doc would say shift and move, but that's not necessarily, you use whatever strategy you want. So I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to keep these even. Now what you're going to see is you're going to see numbers here, where they usually show numbers, and those numbers are associated with the space between. So now I know. Okay, so I'm keeping that in alignment. I'm going to duplicate 1 more. Okay. So let's say this is how I wanted to do it. Now I have all this space between. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to bring this up here. I'm going to bring it to the front. So now you see it's in the front. So one of my guests, Heidi Barker. So now if I want to, she may not have those same colors as I do. So let's say we're going to go to cyan and we're going to keep that black. But now I want to make the text black. Okay, so the only problem with that is it looks like I'm going to need to do that. And now I have her name right here. I'm going to duplicate this. And I'm going to do Eshawn Peterson. Now, the great thing about this is, like, if you know that the name's running long, I'm going to do that. I want to make this wide enough. I want to make this wide enough. What the heck did this thing do? Well, we're going to make it wide enough so that this works. This is the type of thing that happens on live. But there we go. Going to bring this up. So now we're going to keep on doing this. Now, why do I do this with the colors? Why do I go background and say, okay, well, she may be orange and red, or orange and white, whatever the case may be. The reason I do this is because this is how you make a difference between being a decent host and a great host. So everything that I do is planned out to the very last detail. So let's go over back to the screen share. And I'm going to go back to Eshawn. So when I'm going back to her, I know that that is one of her background colors. So I'm going to go back to the scene one. I'm going to go to Eshawn. I'm going to go to background. I'm going to go to here. Let me make sure that I have this right. So now I have her color there. So now I'm going to click OK. I'm going to go back to my screen share. I'm going to go back to the color slurp. Pick color. I'm going to click that. Now I'm going to go back here. I'm going to go border. I'm going to paste this in. Now if I make that border a little bit wider, you're going to see these are Eshawn's colors. I'm going to do this for every single person there because this is their brand colors, and I want, whether they're on my platform or not, to be representative of who they are. I made it 45 minutes in without having a drink. That's pretty good. So I'm going to add all these different people in. I'm going to add Fulgens in. I'm going to add Sharita. And we're going to go through from here. But I also have different options. Like, let's say that I didn't want to do this wide view. Let's say I wanted, or the tall view. Let's say I wanted to do a square view. Then I could do it here. I could do 4 and 3. whenever you're talking about DEIB, I think I'll be very honest, I'm really sensitive about it because I don't want to have the wrong, I don't want to put the people in a way that, like, I'm not going to have myself and Chris Armstrong next to each other because we're both white guys. It just doesn't work out that way. So as I go through, let's say that this is what I chose to do. Yeah, that's what I was trying to do before. I'm going to match that. Here's Heidi. I'm going to bring this up a little bit because I want it to be on par size, height-wise. There we go. So I'm going to do this with each individual person. Now I have my scene. So within the scene, I can add things. I could, if somebody's commenting, I'm going to be able to do last comment. Yeah, Giselle, let me know if you want. I could definitely work with you to get you set up with ECAMM. I will let everybody know it is Mac only. I'm only going to be doing this for about 15 more minutes. I'm going to go back, and one of the things I want to do before I let everybody go is I want to show how to create the videos, some of the video features within, because I think that's really important. But let me know. The reason why you're not showing here is because here we go. It was too dark based on the background. So now I could add these things in, and you'll be able to tell right over here. So this is all what we're able to do. I could turn this over to the face cam. Hey. Also, just so that everybody knows, when you're looking at this, if I pull up this screen here and I say I have a green screen, I can go here and let's see. Now, if I were to expand this, you're going to be able to see the green screen behind me. This might be easier to do if I click it here. So let's do this one. Let's go to FaceTime HD camera, green screen, video images. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to look, okay, which photos do I want behind? Which photo do I want behind me? So now you're going to be able to see that I have this behind me. And I'm able to adjust this. Or I can make it transparent. So I just have black, whatever the case may be. I can mask the edges. Also, if I want to, I can zoom in. I don't want anybody getting too close a view of my face because nobody wants to see that. Okay. In the comments, feel free to ask questions. If I don't have any questions, I will go through and create a banner in Canva so everybody can see how I operate. But you let me know how I could benefit you. If you're getting anything out of this, just let me, tell me, and we'll go from there. I'm going to put my green screen on. Let's say I go to my desktop and I'm going to go to ECAMM Live. And I could pick any of these photos that I want. What do I want to do? That's Naeem Sanders. Yeah, so here's Healing Our Future, the show that I produce. Okay, so if we don't have any questions, I'm going to go back to screen share and let's go to the DIB playbook. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. And this is not how I would always do it, but it's just easier for me. I am going to go to Canva, blank screen. I'm going to go and I'm going to say, okay, I need to do an Instagram post. Don't portrait, don't square. I'll go with this one. I'm going to go to create blank. Now, it's important to me to keep uniformity. So I'm going back to uploads. I'm going here. I'm going to set image as background. So now I have my background. Now I'm going to go to text, add heading. I'm going to go to the DI playbook. Actually, that might, yeah. Well, so this is where sometimes the creativity could get at you. Where was it? Where did I put that stupid or that video? Not stupid video. I don't know why I almost said that. Oh, here it is. So this is a video I created for my live yesterday. Now, the reason that you're seeing all of this where it looks like it's duplicated is this. So this is the actual video going through. Now, as you can see, each person is coming in at a different time. That's Fulgence Henry. There's Heidi Barker, Crystal Howard, Eshawn Peterson. You know me. So here's the reason that this step, and by the way, this is what I was actually looking for. So let me shift. What I'm doing right now is I'm grouping everything together so I can then copy and bring over here, but also, and this is all about keeping uniformity. But going back to this, just real quick. So the reason that you saw what looked like all this is because the way that I do this is if I go show timing, you're going to see that down here, and let me see, yeah. So this only I can only zoom in up there, but if you were to look down here, each individual person shows up at a different point. Each individual name shows up at a different point. So the way that I do that is by simply going to the timing, and I know that this is 29.5 seconds. So the first 3 seconds, Lori Thibodeau is going to be there. Then I want Chris Armstrong to be in there. Then I want Sharita and Fulgence and Heidi and Eshawn and Crystal and me. And I do each of these so that they're popping up at different individual times and they have different individual animations. So if you see Sharita, you're going to see that up here it says pop. If you see Eshawn, it's going to be tectonic. Crystal is going to be ascend, hosted by shift. But here's the thing with this. Because I'm utilizing timing within the Canva, I can have 5, 10, 15 different pictures that are supposed to be in the same spot, but at different times. So they're all going to be layered on top of each other so that when it comes through, it has that effect. So let me go over here. So as you can see, again, you're going through one at a time. Now I'm bringing everybody together. Now the names are popping up. Now I'm doing a transition into the DEI playbook, followed by coming soon. So this is how I did the banner. Yes, the replay, everything will be available to watch, Vera. And please feel free to connect with me. It looks like we're third connections. I'm always happy to connect with anybody that's in the DEIB space. So this, here, let me go back to the start of this one. So what this is now you have my background, I have a lightning scene. I've actually shaded down July 14th. So if I went to effects, I've shaded it down. I've put it, now you can see like this is right there in that timestamp. And then I have LinkedIn popping up through it. This is just my personal aesthetic. Everybody has different aesthetics. I like darker colors, Phoenix. Y'all have seen. So all of this has different, but I highly recommend utilizing. And now here's the cool thing. Let's say that I wanted to go to audio. So I'm going to go to, should I use one of their audio or use mine? Okay. So let's say I wanted to go to audio, then I could test out all these different ones. I do not like that. Okay. So let's say that I wanted to add this. You're going to see how this bar is down here now. So if you look at BeatSync, this is one of the newer features. If I click this, your page and elements will automatically be timed. So look at how this bottom bar is, and look how steady it is. Now I click, and you're going to see how each segment interludes. So what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to adjust, because that's sort of a boring dynamic. Okay. Now I'm going to click off, because I wanted to have more, I wanted to be more upbeat. So now watch what happens as we go through this. The beat is synced with each individual. This is one of my favorite features. See how that worked out? I happen to really love when things come together like that. So I think it's a lot of fun. All right, I only have a few more minutes to do this because I do have to prep for another meeting, and quite frankly, my bladder would hate me for it. But okay, so let's go back and let's say that I'm doing this. By the way, even though I copied this to from another, I can actually ungroup this. And now when I pull this over, watch how this works. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Uploads. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to use Fulgens as an example because he's going to be on my next call. So I'm going to scale him down. I'm now going to go to Elements. I'm going to go to Frame. Oops, misspelling, going too fast. I'm going to go to Frame. Now I have all these different options. So now I take this, I put him in here. I'm going to double click on that. Sorry, cancel that. Up here, you're going to see the color for the side. So I'm going to make this color white to highlight him. Now, what I'm going to do is go back to my elements, text box. I'm going to bring this down here. I'm going to shift group. Now I'm going to go, I'm going to duplicate this, and this is mainly so that I could keep there we go. So now I do this, I make this black. I do not know what just happened. Oh. I do not know what's going on right now, folks. Okay, hopefully y'all could hear me. I don't know what happened. There is some music playing on here. I have to be honest, I genuinely don't know what's happening right now. Well, we're going to do it anyway. Let's go with it. All right. So because this is going to be on YouTube, what the hell is that music playing? Okay, last thing I am going to, I'm going to go to apps, QR code. That was so weird. I'm so confused. Um, oh, let me see. Sorry about that, folks. I really needed to be on there for Marshall, but that's okay. Okay, so let's finish this up. Okay, so I'm going back. I'm going into here. I'm going to my network. I'm going to events. And then I'm going to DI playbook. I'm going to manage, share, copy link. I'm going to enter in the URL. I'm going to generate the code. And I'm going to put it right here. And there you have where we would have, this is something I could send over to Fulgens and go from there to get this operational. So anyway, there you have it, everyone. That is my live demo for today. If you found value in this, if you want to see more, please let me know. Oh, that's the problem with breaking up, with breaking things up into two screens. But hopefully, this dynamic has helped everybody. I know we've been going for a bit over an hour strong, and I do have a meeting in 20 minutes. So if you've enjoyed, if you found value in it, let me know and I'll keep on doing it. In the meantime, I am going to close out and I'm going to close out to